Let's preach. Genesis. I would have thought by now y'all would have caught on. Set some ground rules. Y'all, I know this is a men's conference. Y'all better act like y'all in a Baptist church tonight and talk back to me. Y'all don't even understand. Talk back ministry to a preacher is a real ministry. All right, here we go. Genesis 5. Genesis 5. Man, God's man on deck. Wow. Here we go. Genesis 5. This is what it says. It decrees and declares, verse 29 and verse 30. And he called his name Noah. In the Hebrew, it's pronounced Noah. Watch this. And he called his name Noah, saying, this same shall comfort us concerning our work and toil of our hands, because of the ground which the Lord hath cursed. And Lamech lived after he begat Noah 95 years, and begat sons and daughters. Bow your heads. Father, we thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name, for who you are and what you're doing in our lives. We appreciate all that you are to us, and we realize and recognize that there is nothing that we can do without you. We are grateful to you, God, for the peace that you give to us that pass all understanding. Lord, I ask that you will let it keep our hearts and our minds through Christ Jesus. I pray that somebody's, Lord, life has changed, transformed. I pray now through the power of preaching tonight that we would make necessary adjustments. I pray somebody's soul is saved tonight. Somebody is delivered to never return back to the place of captivity or bondage ever again. I speak a fresh wind to blow in this room tonight that would give somebody life back to their tribe. In Jesus' name. Now may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. And the people of God ought to shout amen. But do me a favor on your way down to your seat, especially the brothers in the room, and just holler at another brother and tell him, hey man, the subject is, I'm just not that guy. You may be seated. Just ladies, you can look at another lady. Since the ladies are here, we're not going to exclude y'all. Just look at another lady and say, hey, I'm just not that girl. I want to talk tonight, and you got that, Mr. DJ. I might need you a couple of times to help me tonight. You got that. Yeah. All right. Now, here's the cue. Here's the cue. When I say hit it, Mr. DJ, because you might need to be my amen corner tonight. All right. Hit it, Mr. DJ. All right, thanks. Love this church. Love this church. Hey, watch this. Okay, watch this. I want to talk tonight because you can just hold it. Let me work for a second. I got a old Baptist preacher. I got to plow my plow, so let me work tonight for a minute. I want to talk tonight because I think that it is important for us to really dig deep and really, as men, pay attention to some things. And I always tell my wife, who grew up as the oldest of the grandchildren, and many of her cousins and siblings were boys. She's got 2 other sisters, but they grew up around boys and men. There's a lot of men in the family. And so I always talk to my wife and try to help her, Terry, to understand that women have to understand the necessity for how to treat and talk to a man. It is important, ladies, that you understand how men and women are. We are a little different. Women are emotional and are often, Apostle, very vocal. I ain't throwing off on y'all, because anybody that knows my wife is very vocal. She, her whole family is loud. Like not loud mouth, like I'm talking about loud mouthed. No, seriously. When you walk into a room at a family reunion and there's 400 of them in the room, and you don't know who's talking because all of them are talking loud. It's just loud, right? I could be loud, but women, because they're vocal, sometimes it ain't even about how loud they are as much as it is the repetitiveness in the conversation has the tendency and the ability to amplify what is being heard. And so, don't go too far from it now. And so what happens is our women, now men, let me just lay the ground rule. Big Phil, I don't worry about it. I got my deacon over here, we call him Deep. I got Big Phil, I got Big Phil manager. You the manager, right? No, you is, nigga, you too big not to be the manager. Hey, watch this. Men, there has to be absolute transparency here tonight. Even though these ladies are here tonight, trust me, for us, it has to be absolute transparency. So there's going to come some moments, man, where some stuff going to hit, and you might have to just let out a big roar. Yeah! No? Now, watch this. Ladies, men are a little different. It's not that we're not emotional. Our emotions are just managed differently. All right? That's it, brothers. Y'all can talk back to me. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm getting y'all some help, whether you realize it or not. I'm making a hard conversation that most of us can't have easy tonight. Watch this. Ladies, men are a little different because how we process information helps to determine the level of our response. Watch this. You're the man in the house, and a woman will get a different response out of you based on how she asks you to take some trash out or to do something. Y'all hear me, man? Watch this. Ladies, listen, because it's helping y'all too. Watch this. A lady can say to a man, oh my gosh, I wish you would just take the trash out. Don't you see the trash running over? And the brother may not say much to you back, but in his head, there is a whole dialogue of conversation that's happening with you that you're unaware of that's happening. Because in his mind, watch this, in his mind, he sometimes is saying, well, if it's that much of an emergency that you are bothered by the trash running over, why don't you take it out? Now, brothers, I promise y'all, I'm coming back around the bend because I'm telling you right now, some of the ladies are looking like, wait a minute, is that really what you're saying? No, that's really what he's saying. No, that's what he's saying. Watch this. However, when I travel, any preacher that travels are anointed. And I have come to this one conclusion since being married to my wife, that no matter how anointed I am on the road, when I come home, my anointing does not turn off. I'm anointed to take trash out. No. Listen, I'm sorry. This is not going to be your deep exegetical message for starts with a lot of homiletics and hermeneutics. It ain't going to be a whole lot of that for the start. Watch this. When I come home, it is, babe, something broke in the house. And I'm looking at it like, in my head, now you know you can put that on there. But it's a difference of how she say it to me. Oh, I'm so glad you're home. And now you can fix this thing. It's been broke since you left. But instead, she said, you know what? Baby, this thing broke when you was gone. And she said, watch this. I told the kids, Daddy's going to fix it when he come home. Sleepy side, I'm coming over here. She said, she told the kids, Mr. DJ, she said, watch this. Daddy's going to fix it when he comes home. She said, because Daddy can fix anything. Ladies, y'all better listen to me. I'm trying to help you. You around here talking about you want a man? You better listen to me. I'm trying to help you. Watch this. And then the kids, they echoed it. They say, hey, Daddy, this thing is broke. But Daddy, you can fix anything. In my SpongeBob SquarePants voice, 8 months later, I done changed a high voltage capacitor on a microwave that I ain't never knew how to take apart before. Why? Because it's something in the frequency of her voice that spoke to an unrecognized potential in me that made a part of the man that I am be recognized, because she affirmed what most people frustrate. Just hang tight. See, watch this. Women get frustrated because there is a point of repetition that often happens in communication. Just stick with me for a minute. I'm going somewhere. I promise you, ladies, this is not a sisters bashing session. All right? We cool? I ain't come here with no kid gloves on. I know who your pastors are. I watch them in the morning just like you do. I'd be like, dang, she is killing all of us on here. Let me go in here and sold my $7. Shoot. Watch this. It's the frequency of the ask that often frustrates the woman, because she automatically assumes, because we did not respond to the frequency of the ask a certain way, that we don't care. Now y'all look at me like, I thought he was reading about Lamech and Noah. Hang tight. Watch this. It is the frequency of the ask that often, because you don't get the response, you automatically assume that he doesn't care. Watch this. But the emotions of the man function and operate a little different than the emotions of the woman, because what happens is the woman is going to talk about everything that's on her mind, whether you want to hear it or not. Watch this. The man, however, doesn't always respond Because for men, we are internalizers. We're going to think this stuff through, which is one of the reasons why with men who have out of control emotions, they often tend to implode. And when they implode and explode, they end up doing more damage than necessary, because we have worked to hold all of this in to try to process it without help, that we end up now when it finally comes out, the window is broke, the plates is tore up, the cabinets are torn up, stuff is destroyed because we have not been able and allowed the opportunity to be able to fully express some of our thoughts, because oftentimes we have been taught by both men and women in the family that you must be soft if you're talking about how you feel. And so now as a result, when you get in a relationship with this joker and he has been spending all of his years bottling things up on the inside, because he has been taught and trained and conditioned to hold things in, now you are frustrated with him because he won't talk. Well, let me help you to understand something. Sometimes it's not about what you say, it's about the frequency to which you say it. Watch this. It happened to me. It happened to me. I'm transparent. I'm talking about me. It happened to me. I'm home during the day, and so I realized it was 2 days ago that my wife was going through some things. Deacon was taking some trash from different places and just kind of, we call it decluttering, just getting some things out. And she had asked me 2 days ago, it was like middle of 2 days before yesterday. She said, "Hey, honey, I left that trash bag in there. Don't forget to take it out for me." "Sorry, girl, I got you. I got you." Trash bag the next day was still in there. And in my head, because I have so many things going on, I'm working on new music, I'm pushing the book. We just started the second book, illustration. And then, I'm still trying to help lift the load off of her with some stuff that she's got on her plate, right? And Terry, I left the bag in the garbage can in the bathroom. And she came back and she said, "Hey, babe, don't forget to take the trash bag out for me." I said, "All right." She said, "Okay, I got you." Yesterday comes, and she says, she got up, she got ready to leave the house in the morning. I got up, I did 6 a.m. prayer, 7 a.m. call from my godmother, and she said, "Don't forget to take the trash out for me." I said, "All right, I got you, girl. Got you." She came home last night, and she didn't say, "Oh my gosh." She didn't say it. She didn't say, "Oh my gosh, you've got to take that trash out." She said, "Baby," she said, "did you forget that I asked you to take the trash out the other day?" And I said, "No, girl, you just told me that this morning." She said, "No, actually, I told you that 2 days ago." Right? And so I felt bad because she asked me several times to do something. Because men, one of the things that you will learn about a woman, no matter how large your place is, women don't like clutter. DJ? Watch it. I got the right DJ tonight. So I had to get him to help me because some of y'all was quiet. I'm trying to help the men. Watch this. Women don't like clutter. All right, the ladies on this side sleep. Y'all should have stayed home tonight. I'm joking. Women, hey Tanya, women don't like clutter. Watch this. They don't. Every woman should have been running through here high-fiving each other. Grab your partner, do-si-do. Watch this. Women don't like clutter. And so what happens is, it's because in the woman's head, she's like, I know I don't like clutter. We live in this house. She said, but I at least need one good space that ain't cluttered. Right? So, you know, take your stuff on that other side of the room. Just give me this space right here. And we ain't got no mail on that coffee table. We ain't got no mail over here, right? So, watch this. So I felt bad because I know when she comes in that part of the house, that's not a place where she wants clutter, right? But it was the frequency of her ask that made me correct it, not because I didn't want to be at odds with her, but because I wanted her to have some peace. I promise you, hang with me. Let me dig for a minute. So men often, ladies, when you ask in frequency, often seem, one, like they don't care because they're not responding the way you want them to respond, or two, like they are frustrated with you, when the truth, I got a witness back there, when the truth of the matter is he's not really frustrated with you. What the reality is, lady, is men are solution-driven thinkers. When we get into a place of silence, we are automatically going into a place to try to figure out what is the kind of solution that I can bring, not to shut you up, but to please you. Now, so there is an understanding of the man that you have to know and understand. You have to be intentional about understanding him, because one of the worst things that you can do is have a man come home and he's not at peace in his own house. Watch this. So, because whether you realize it or not, most men who internalize information are often fighting their own fights within their head. Okay, all right. Check this out. Because I don't want y'all to think that I'm just giving you this life coach message, even though Jesus was a life coach. I can prove it to you. Jesus was a life coach. He asked clarifying questions. Where my life coach is at? Watch this. He asked clarifying questions. Jesus asked the woman, he said, where is your husband? He over there. He said, no, you got 5 of them, and the one that you with now ain't yours. I don't want to just, I promise you all, we're going to swing in a minute. Watch this. I don't want to just deal with this from this, oh, that was a cute inspirational message. I had to help you here because when dealing with men who are often conditioned for silence and built for destruction, you've got to be able to know how to navigate to go back to the point of Genesis in his life and undo and uproot what has become a part of his fabric, but not necessarily a part of his creation. Okay, all right, watch this. Here it is. This is Vacation Bible School. It's officially Sunday, summertime. Watch this. Here it is, Apostle. When we look at the text, we notice that God makes man in his image and in his likeness. He makes them man and female. he created them, male and female created he them. Is that the Bible, right? Genesis. Watch this. The scripture talks about after Adam and Eve sins in the garden, the Bible decrees and declares that God puts them out of the garden, puts an angel at the gate of the garden to ensure that they don't decide that they're going to break back in to come back into the garden. Watch this. The Bible then says that they have two sons. They have a son called Cain and another son named Abel. Watch this. Abel and Cain are at a point where they are offering to God a sacrifice. Abel offers God a blood sacrifice from a lamb, whereas Cain is the tiller of the ground. Stick with me, I'm going somewhere. He is the tiller of the ground. He produces fruits and vegetables, tomatoes, cucumbers, carrots, corn, potatoes, collard greens, turnip greens. He produces fruit from the ground, but it's not his best offering that he brings to God. And so as a result, God rejects his offering, but he accepts Abel's. Because he rejects his offering, and he is now moved to a place of jealousy, because in his head he often feels like, well, you know, Abel is the baby and Abel is the favorite, and why mama and daddy treat Abel the way he treat him, and now God is treating him like him the favorite. Watch this. And so what he does is they catch him out in the field. He kills his brother Abel. Watch this. He kills him, and when he kills him, God shows up on the scene and he asks him, he says, Cain, where is your brother Abel? Cain, of course, gives him the prideful, arrogant answer, and he says to him, yo man, I don't know where he is. Am I my brother's keeper? So then Cain, God says, what have you done? What have you done? I can hear the voice of his blood crying out of the ground. What have you done? He says, as a result, he says, because you have done this thing, he says, I am, watch this, pay very close attention, I am going to curse the ground from which you pull fruit. I'm going to frustrate your productivity because you have done a wicked thing by taking somebody's life. Okay, here we go. Let's fast forward. So now they have more babies. He now has a mark upon his head, Cain does, because God wants to make sure that nobody kills you, because you're going to live in this space of your decision in torment. Hear me and let me preach tonight right quick. Watch this. And so what happens is the Bible says that more children come out of the loins of Adam and Eve, and then all of a sudden they have some children, Mahalalel, they have Methuselah, Methuyael, they have all of these names. I love genealogy of the Bible, but I want to just cut through right here and just take a shortcut, because out of the loins of Cain, he has a grandson whose name is Lamech. Everybody say Lamech. Watch this. Lamech he has an issue. One of the issues that Lamech has is he is blind. Brother David, he is blind. There is a problem when you have somebody who is supposed to be in the posture, potential, and the position to lead you, but they have no vision. Okay, watch this. Watch this. I watched before a year and some weeks happened before she married this man who their paths and destinies had crossed through a sister but had never met each other. And I watched what God did in you to build this church. But after you married somebody that has power, has potential, has promise, I got ready to call her one day about something, and she says, hey bro, she says, thank you for calling me, you've been a good brother. She says, but I got a husband happening now, and I'm going to need you to talk to my husband. She said, because everything with this church, watch this, everything, I'll let you know when I'm ready, everything with this church that I know she built through God, hallelujah, she has now submitted it, watch this, to power, to focus, oh my God, and potential. Ladies, let me help you to understand something, and brothers, let me go ahead on and throw this out there to you. Let me help you to understand something. For a woman, there is nothing more sexier. Oh, did I say that? Did I mean to say? Oh, there is nothing more sexier to a woman than a man that knows that he has potential and he has some direction and he can lead the family through hard times, tough times, difficult times, when your money is funny, when your change is acting strange, and when your bank account got the runs. One of the worst things that you could have is something that you have worked to build for so many years through blood, sweat, and tears, only to turn it over to somebody that is blind and cannot see. It is difficult. It is difficult to turn something that you have worked and have poured your resources and poured your emotions in, and you have poured in countless hours of fasting and consecration and prayer, only to give what you have worked so hard for to somebody that does not have vision. Because people who are allowed to function with no vision, they are rebels and dangerous. When you put something, a weapon of a warfare, into a hand of somebody that doesn't have a big feel, they don't have no vision, they'll end up doing more damage than they will do good. And sometimes you won't choose somebody in your life, but the truth of the matter is many of us, because we have lived through lives of dysfunction, have just been okay with settling for anybody instead of waiting for somebody. And I'm here to prophesy tonight to help you to understand that some of the rejection that you dealt with and went through in your life, God had to help you to understand this one truth, that rejection is direction. God had to let you get that last no. He had to let you show, he had to let you see, hallelujah, the difference between Boaz and Bozo. He had to help you to understand, hallelujah, that you had to experience listen, let me help you to understand something. I used to work, I told you Big Phil, I'm from Orlando. I used to work at Universal Studios, and I used to work at Walt Disney World. Over 20 plus years ago, I used to work there. Yeah, I did. Check this out. I used to work at Walt Disney World. I used to work at Universal Studios. And when they took us through the weeks of training, MJ, that they took us through, Pastor MJ, they took us through something that was very unique. And I thought it was very unique, and I want to just share it with y'all right quick. When we started, they helped us to understand that cashiers and people that deal with money in the park are often fallen victim to what they call money changers. Watch this. They call them money changers because you have two types of money changers. You have a money changer that during the height of activity in a particular place, they will come and they will ask you, oh, by the way, after they place their order and give you money, they give you either a $50 bill, and then when you give them the money back, they'll say, well, you didn't give me enough change. I gave you a 50. And then what happens is you'll end up going back, giving them more money, and then they walk away with more. Another type of money changer is going to be the individuals that comes and give you fake currency. They're going to come and what they'll do is they'll catch you at the height of the moment, and then they'll give you money, watch this, that is not authentic currency. And so what they would do is before they would put a cashier till in our hands, brother manager, what they do is in training, they would give us a fake $20 bill. They give us a fake $20 bill because they wanted us to feel the difference in what a fake $20 bill felt like versus what a real $20 bill felt like. And they put one in our hand and they say, one of the things that you can do is you can hold this 20 up to the light. I'm going somewhere. somewhere, and you'll be able to see that there is a security strip inside of the dollar bill. That's one of the ways. They say another way is you could take your fingers and lightly rub it across the top, or your fingernail and scrape it across, and you'll be able to feel these ridges. If you don't feel these things, then it's highly indicative that you're dealing with a counterfeit. One more thing that they do is they give us a black marker, and they tell us, they said, if the pen color turns brown, light brown, then that's a real dollar, because it's something that they put inside of the ink, that when you mark that $20 bill and it's a real $20 bill, then what happens is it interacts with the makeup of the bill. But then if it stayed black, then there was an indication that it was a fake. And I'm here to decree and declare that God, before he let Boaz walk into your life, he had to give you a counterfeit, ladies. He had to help you to understand, hallelujah, that he flossing with his clothes, but he ain't got no prayer life. He flossing with his car, but he really ain't got the money to keep it. He flossing, and I had to let you come in your life, not necessarily to kill you, but to help you to understand what a counterfeit looks like, feel like, smell like, touch like, sound like, because once you get the fake, MJ, I remember, MJ, I remember, this is my sister, I'm gonna talk, I remember, I got the video to prove it. I remember we was in a high praise in 2017, hallelujah, and she was married at the time to a bozo. She was married. How do you know he's a bozo? I'm gonna tell you, Pastor D, how is a bozo? This is not in any way an intention to be able to bash him, but I'm gonna tell you the problem that I had. The problem, and y'all can see it. It's on my page. It's on my TikTok page. We was up in the high praise. It was a praise break. Deliverance had broke out all over the church. Deliverance apostle broke out of the church. MJ and the man was sitting in the pulpit. Watch this. Was sitting in the pulpit, and the power of deliverance broke out in the church. And before you know it, she went to dancing before the Lord. She was dancing. The other pastors was dancing. The other women was dancing. The apostles were dancing. And he was sitting there like a wallflower, like he was at the nightclub. I had a problem. Watch this. It got so bad to the point to where there's another clip that I have that she had cleared out that whole section. Like, I got to get out of here. Hallelujah. And I realized at that moment that when he could not praise at the same capacity that she could pray, Lord have mercy here. Hallelujah. There was a problem. Get you somebody in your life that's going to go just as hard as you, that's going to pray just as hard as you. I'll tell you when I'm ready. Thank you, Brother DJ. Slap somebody a high five and tell them I'm about to get mine. I saw it. Y'all not saying nothing to me here. I saw it. I had a whole problem. Every time I watch that video, I shake my head, because I said that girl prays too hard to be married to somebody like that. Y'all not saying nothing to me here. They put the mic in her hand for 30 seconds. She got up and destroyed the place. And he was sitting around like a wallflower. Brothers, let me help you to understand something. If you want to get you a winner and a keeper, find your place in prayer. You want to get you a winner and a keeper, find you a place where God can download something great in you. If you want a keeper, I don't hear nobody talking to me here. You got to find a place in God that when they get worked up and can't make sense of what God is doing, hallelujah, your voice after you come out of prayer can fix it all by saying God gonna do it. You better find somebody, a brother, and tell him God is working on me. He's working on me. Brothers, find another brother and tell him he's working on me. Watch this. Well, watch this. So, watch this. Apostle Lamech is blind. I love the Bible. Love the Word of God. Lamech is blind. He has 3 sons and a daughter. 3 sons and a daughter. He has a son whose name is Jubal, another son named Tubal, and another son whose name is Tubal Cain. Watch this. One is a master of weapons. The other one is a master of tent making. And the son named Jubal is the father of music in Bible. Watch this. Is where his name Jubal is where we get the phrase Jubilee. Watch this. Let me help you. So he has 3 sons. Watch this. He has no vision, but he decides that he wants to go out hunting with the son whose name is Tubal Cain. Wait. Watch this. Granddaddy, whose name is Cain, decides, man, I'm a little old, man, but I'm down for a good hunt. Watch this. I'm going somewhere. Hang with Big Phil. You got me? You with me? Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You got a whole brother for life, homie. Watch this. Tubal takes his father and his grandfather out hunting. One is blind, and the other one is losing his sight from old age. Granddaddy is losing his sight. Watch this. Daddy is losing his sight, and the son clearly ain't got no vision. I can prove it. Sight and vision are similar, but are not the same. Because vision for the barber will let him see with a head full of hair where your curve is. Hey, okay, watch this. Vision for a hairstylist will put you a sew-in in your head and style it even though your edges are thin. Oh, no. Y'all don't like me. Watch this. Watch this. Vision is you having an empty storefront. That is a shell, and you turn it into a church. Watch this. See, sight and vision, one of these things are like the other. One of these things are not the same. Right? Watch this. See, the daddy is blind. He has no sight or vision. Granddaddy is suffering the same condition, Brother David. The son has sight, but no clear vision. Why do you know that? Because he took 2 blind men to go hunting with him. Brothers, I know some of y'all saying, well, why you say that? What's your point? I'm glad you thought to ask. Because you got to check your circle. No. You got to check your circle, because when God delivers you from out of a particular lifestyle and the people around you cannot quite see clear on how you can still function in this new lifestyle, you need to change your circle. You're taking the wrong people hunting with you. Somebody's life is going to be lost. Find people in your life that when you say to them, God told me that I'm I'm getting ready to build and start a Fortune 500. Here is how you know, Fortune 500 company. Here is how you know when you got the right people in your circle. One of the responses, my brother, is going to be, I believe God with you. The other response is going to be, how you going to do that? Where you going to get the money from? Girl, you just got off the pole 2 months ago. You done got saved and done bumped your head. Let me help you to understand something. You got a blind granddaddy, a blind daddy spirit around you that's looking at you wanting to hang out, but they don't have vision to be able to see in the realm of possibility because they've been conditioned to function as a normality in the realm of impossibility. Watch this. Tubal Cain makes a mistake. Watch this. Watch this. He makes a mistake. He takes his father. He takes his grandfather hunting. Lady Tierra, both of them blind or losing their sight. Cain gets tired. Some of y'all like, what Bible is he reading? I'm going to tell you right now, go. And the most boring part of the Bible that most people don't like to read is genealogy. You know why most people don't like to read genealogy? Because genealogy is going to make you go and dig through your bloodline. And the problem with most believers is we want to jump and shout, but we don't want to go and dig to deal with the stuff that's plaguing your family and your life through generational curses, soul ties, and behaviors. So genealogy, watch this. The Bible historians, Bishop, he says they discover that Cain, granddaddy, had got too tired. Granddaddy got tired, took a seat. Lamech, the daddy, he said, hey, boy, hey, let your daddy show you something, boy. Hey, give me. Get that boy down, boy. Put the boy down in your hand, boy. Let me show you how you do this. Watch this. Y'all know that's how some of y'all uncle and granddaddy them talk. Y'all ain't playing me. And I'm from the country. Hey, boy. Hey, young buck. Hey, give me that boy down, boy. Let me show you how to do this. And he like, Dad, man, your eyes bad. Hey, don't talk to your old man like that. I'm going to show you how this goes. Watch it. Watch this. The grandson, Tubal Cain, puts the bow and arrow in his father's hand. And Daddy said, hey, I hear something over there. I hear some movement over there. Hey, what's that moving over there? He can't see. He got some hearing. He takes aim, shoots, and hits a target that he can't see. He made a kill. The kill was his grandfather. See, this is not going the way y'all thought it was about to get ready and go. Y'all like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait, what? Oh, no, it's juicy. Hey, look at somebody telling the Bible is juicy. Hey, man, this juicy. Watch this. He takes aim, Pastor MJ, and lets go. He kills his dad. He kills Dad. And then Tubal Cain is screaming because he's like, you done killed Granddaddy. He turns around upset at the fact that the grandson or the son put the weapon in a blind man's hand and then turns around and kills him next. This dude right here like, yo, bruh, I saw you. He's like, yo, what? Watch this. Please hang with me. I got to dig. Watch this. The daddy turns around, kills the son, mad because the son put a weapon in his hand that he had no wherewithal to manage. Ladies, gentlemen, there are some people who do not have the propensity to be able to carry and manage the potential in you. Stop putting the weapons of your warfare into the hands of people who want to be dimes and not people who want to have more value than what they show on the outside. Ladies, since you're here, y'all, I gave him my heart and he broke it. Stop. It's more people got pieces of your heart. Your whole heart is schizophrenic. He got a piece over here. They got a piece over there. Maury Povich can't help you find the pieces of your heart. Stop giving so much of yourself away to people who do not have the propensity to manage everything that you just lived through. You just got out of a bad relationship. I just got on my feet. I just got right back where I needed. I had to get out of this with my life, and now all of a sudden I'm doing well, and this joker want to come back. No. I told you that I'm out for the last time. You can't come and smooth talk me through this one. You can't come and talk me and whisper sweet nothings in my ear. No, we can't Netflix and chill, because you must understand that what God has put inside of you is getting ready to shift you and change you so much that you're going to realize I can't let anybody come and mess this thing up. I realize what the counterfeit looks like. I know what the counterfeit feels like. I know what the counterfeit smells like. That's why your mama, when you got with that joker the first time, your mama and them will walk up to him and say, hey, they talk like this. Who your peoples? That's what they say. They say, who your peoples? Why? They say, who your peoples? Because your mama went to school with their granddaddy who didn't have no vision. Your auntie went to school with his daddy who knew in high school he was beating on the girls. Your mama went to school with that chick mama who knew that whorism was in their bloodline. Oh, y'all not going to say that to me here. Because you must understand that if you don't get out of this, am I in trouble for saying whorism? Oh, huh? Oh, okay, all right, that's cool. I'm just trying to help the people. I thought I was at Unity. Come together. Come on, Mr. DJ. Hey, watch this. Watch this. I'm almost where I need to be. Watch this. So, Lamech is blind, goes hunting with his son and his dad or grandfather, kills granddaddy, gets mad, kills the son. Watch this. And then goes home, calls his two wives, and make an announcement and brag about the fact that he killed somebody who simply bruised him. His ego is frustrated. Pastor D, he goes home, he brags to the wife. He tell him, I just killed 2 people close to me. I'm telling you right now, I don't have no problem doing it again. It's a cycle. Granddaddy was blind. Daddy was blind. Son ain't got no vision. Why are you dealing with this? The Lord told me I couldn't shake it. He told me, he said, tonight we got to have a personal Genesis. Genesis, the book of beginnings. It deals with your genealogy, what's in your genes. The Holy Ghost told me to tell you tonight, for anybody in here that want to catch it, that you're sitting under this word tonight, and there were generational curses that you didn't even realize was a generational curse that I'm getting ready to take you back to the beginning with. You're going to get delivered, and you're going to be delivered for good tonight. Okay. I'll assume that the praisers are excited about being delivered. I'll also assume that the ones that's quiet have grown content with living and coping with these genealogical issues. Okay, watch this. Let me help you right quick. There was an article by a doctor whose name is Dr. Jessica Johns. Jessica Johns reports, and she writes in her article because she's dealing with something that's a concept, and I kept hearing it and hearing it and hearing it, and I started doing some digging, Bishop, and there was a concept. She's a medical doctor, licensed psychologist, psychiatrist. Dr. Jessica Johns, she deals with something called intergenerational trauma. Watch this. She deals with intergenerational trauma, but what she does is, the way she deals with it, Apostle, is she deals with intergenerational trauma in the perpetuation of what they call childhood maltreatment. Watch this. Let me work. Childhood maltreatment is it happens during childhood, which is often common and widespread. It's this childhood maltreatment, this intergenerational trauma that often happens within our families, ultimately resulting in increased risks of amplified stress, self-injury, mental health concerns, and even structural changes to the brain. Johns she goes on to note that she says that it is notable that maltreatment of children, watch this y'all, tends to run in family, which is often referred to as ITCM, intergenerational transmission of child maltreatment. In other words, what she discovers is that if your children, when they get older, are inflicting trauma on their children, it's not because that's who they became as an adult, but it is an indicator that it was something that was perpetuated upon them from generation to generation. Your mama and them beat you like you was a slave because that's what they mama and them did to them. And so as a result, they pass on these disciplinary behaviors. And so you find yourself beating your child for stuff that you got beat for, instead of gaining understanding in trying to be able to resolve some of the childhood trauma that they dealt with as a child, that unlike you adults, which most of us still have challenges doing, hallelujah, don't have the propensity or the wherewithal to be able to discuss and conversate or communicate the trauma that they're dealing with. Let me help you to understand something. I wrote the book that I wrote, and I realized after my children over the last year, within 6 months, lost 2 grandmas, a granddaddy, a great-grandmother, and a host of friends and classmates. Hallelujah. One night they jumped up in the middle of the night and ran into the room screaming and crying, saying to me and my wife, "I'm afraid to die, Daddy. I'm scared to go to sleep tonight." And we said, "Why are you scared?" She said, "Because they started naming it. We lost grandma. We lost the other grandma. We lost great-grandma. We lost granddaddy. We lost Pastor Holly. We we lost Pastor this one. We lost our classmate from the center. And Daddy, we're just afraid that if I go in the room that I'm not going to wake up and I'm not ready to go to heaven in the morning. I could have made one or two decisions because that was about the 12th time that we had done sent them to bed. I could have made a decision, yelled, screamed, and fussed at them. But I had to put myself in their shoes, Brother DJ, to be able to understand the level of trauma, because the difference between them is I can talk about what I felt like losing my mama. I can talk about the inconvenience and the frustration emotionally of losing my father-in-law, who we had great relationship with. We can talk about these things, but these children are constantly hearing us talk about deaths. I had 2 deaths in my church. Hallelujah. People that they knew very well. And they were going to bed with this type of stress on them. And the Lord told me, he said, if you're going to break the cycle of dysfunction over your children's lives, you can't repeat, hallelujah, these intergenerational childhood traumatic maltreatment. You cannot get to the point, because what happens is it is the same doctor who discovers that in this ITCM, they discovered that something called borderline personality disorder spawns from out of this. I promise y'all I'm going somewhere. Just hang with me right quick. Watch this, Pastor. We discovered that borderline personality disorder is going to be a disorder of the personality that it's characterized by severe mood swings. It's characterized by impulsive behavior. It's characterized by the difficulty of forming stable personal relationships. What are you saying, Pastor Jesse? Are you saying that some of us deal and suffer from BPD? Yes, I am. Because if you look at the level of disorder in your life, if you look at the level of severe and chronic mood swings you have, if you look at, for some of us that are impulsive in our behaviors and in our decisions, if you have difficulty forming stable relationships, it is clear and suspect that you are dealing with borderline personality disorder, which is often rooted in intergenerational traumatic childhood maltreatment. And so now you can't learn to function in a place of functionality, brothers, because somebody told you to shut up. You can't cry. Lord have mercy. You can't get over being able to love on your children. I know some men who were told that they can't play house with their sisters who had baby dolls, and the sisters as a child was trying to teach us how to change the baby doll's diaper, and now the women are upset because the son gets older and starts making babies and don't want to be a part of the feeding process, don't want to be a part of the diaper changing process, don't want to prepare dinner. Why? Because it's called intergenerational childhood traumatic maltreatment. You made him feel bad as a boy for wanting to be able to change the baby's diaper or hold the baby. Y'all mad at me here, but I don't care. Hallelujah. I didn't come to be your friend tonight. And so what happens now, Pastor D, is the man gets married and don't want to change the baby diaper because in his head he has developed a disorder, a dysfunction that says if you change that baby's diaper, that's the equivalent to you playing with a baby doll. No, that's called you taking responsibility for what you laid down and birthed. But we have to go back and undo the cycle of dysfunction that's been bedded within us. Some of you all are sitting up here coming to church and shouting, speaking in tongues, but going back home dissatisfied and angry because you're dealing with some real dysfunction. Watch this. It's dysfunction that we discover here deep. It's dysfunction, Terry, Elder Terry, Brother Terry, Deacon Terry, Prophet Terry. I'm going to give you all of them tonight. Watch this. It's dysfunction that hits this bloodline. The granddaddy is a murderer because he's jealous of his brother's worship. Come on, Mr. DJ. Watch this. See, I don't worship to be seen. I don't worship to get into the pastor's inner circle. I don't spend time on the prayer team to try to get some FaceTime microphone and camera time. I don't do that. I don't do these things. I spend time in worship because I understand that if he never did anything else for me, whatever he had done up to that point was still good. Oh, be careful, brothers, when you get around people, another brother or another sister that laughs and picks at how you worship. Because sometimes you got to understand that the level of my worship is going to open the door for you to receive what got held up. But because you were sitting next to me and I threw my hands up and threw my head back and hollered out of the place of my infirmity, hallelujah! The chain didn't just break for me, it broke for you too. I'm trying to find some chain breakers in here that'll do me a favor and take a station identification and throw your hands up and your head back and give God a shout of praise right quick. 1, 2, 3. Because there's some generational curses. Come on, brothers. Don't let these ladies outdo you. Come on, brothers. It's all right. Throw your hands up. Throw your head back and shout glory. I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. Because the Lord told me, as I was looking at this, so Lamech, he brags about the continuation of a generational curse. His granddaddy was blind, he blind. Son ain't got no vision. Daddy killed the great uncle. Lamech kills granddaddy, turns around and starts the next generation on a rocky road cycle of dysfunction. He kills him, goes home to the women to flex his muscle, to say, I'll do it again. And let God let happen to me 7 times 70 what he promised would happen to my granddaddy. It's a cycle of dysfunction that shifts throughout the bloodline. Watch this. So God curses the ground that catered to their insatiable, ungodly appetite. Well, watch this. He curses the ground. The next generations, Tanya, that comes on the scene, watch this. The next generation that comes are all stuck in the cycle of trying to cultivate what's cursed. I got y'all back. Watch this. Watch this. They spend all of their energy trying to cultivate a ground that is cursed because they have developed an insatiable appetite to feed their flesh and forgot about God. I'm just trying to help my brothers in here to understand. The Lord told me to tell you there's some curses that he's breaking in here tonight. Ladies, I ain't forgot about you, but brothers, I'm here for you tonight. Because the enemy wants you to get caught in the cycle of dysfunction in your family. He wants every last one of us in here to be another statistic. Watch this. You know that something is on the verge because there has been mass shootings and mass killings of men in color in the earth. Why? Because the enemy does not want us to realize, hallelujah, he's realizing, Brother Terry, that because we are now coming into a place of wisdom and becoming set free from the spirits of dysfunction and generational curses, he's going to make sure that if we don't self-destruct, that hell puts out a hit on every last one of us to kill us. But I'm here to prophesy to a brother, to decree and declare that God told me to tell you he is shifting the dynamic of your focus. Where your attention was generated before, brothers and sisters, the Lord told me to tell you tonight he's about to shift your focus because time is short. You don't have time to waste on relationships that are not going to produce fruit that leads you back to God. Who am I talking to here? I'm trying to find somebody in here that's really coming into the place of identity, because people who have grown complacent with you being who your mama them said you were, who your uncle them said you were, they not gonna like you now because you've gotten into the place in the face of God and you say, I don't care what you say about me. You can talk about my buck teeth if you want to. I know God. I have a relationship. I used to be this, but I'm not who they say I am. I'm trying to find somebody in here that understands that no matter what you've gone through or what you've dealt with, I am who God says I am. Do me a favor and slap somebody a high five. Look at them in the face and tell them, neighbor, I am who God says I am. I got to get out of here tonight. And so when we look here, there is a generational curse of there's a generational curse of dysfunction that is starting to plague your mind. Some of you brothers have been fighting mental battles because somebody told you you'll never be good enough. There's some brothers in here, you've been fighting generational battles in your mind because somebody told you you'll never be good enough. You'll never measure up. You'll never mount up. And so now we've gone through this extent and the length of opening up our lives and our minds to stuff that does nothing but further arrest you and confine you to the prison of limitation. But the Holy Ghost told me to tell you, for 16 brothers that'll throw your hands up and shout glory, I'm breaking the chains of bondage off your life. Hallelujah. Generational curses that your granddaddies, your daddies, your uncles dealt with. The Lord told me to tell you that I'm breaking it off of you. He is raising up a man whose identity is sure in God. He is raising up a brother who will not get caught up in building a name for himself like Nimrod did. He is looking for a brother who's going to build an altar and not focus on the tower, to be able to draw to draw a generation of young men back to God. The Bible decrees and declares, Lord have mercy, that when that generation died off, the Bible says that then when Enos came on the scene, it says then began men calling on the name of the Lord. I'm trying to find a brother in here that's not ashamed to live Jesus out loud every day. I'm trying to, where my brothers at? Y'all quiet here. I'm trying to find a brother that understands that the season that you're in, it's going to require you to beat the women back to the altar. It's going to require you to be the front runners in the place of prayer. It's going to require you to be the front runners in the place of worship. God is looking for a brother, because whether you realize it or not, he told me to tell you that the I am that I am just stood up in you. Do me a favor and look at somebody close to you and tell them, the Lord told me to tell you, I am that I am is inside of me. Just find somebody close to you that's not bored with you tonight and tell them, I am that I am is in you. Let me get out of here before I frustrate you tonight. Watch this. Let me help you to understand. So there's a generation who's now, there's some who starts to call on the name of the Lord, but while they don't call on the name of the Lord, there's a generation who turns their back on God. And so there is another generation, a man by the name of Lamech. Lamech now is Noah's daddy. Lamech is Noah's father. And because they have spent so much time trying to cultivate what has been cursed, they finally have a son whose name is Noah. Noah's name means rest and reset. Watch this. He has a son named Noah. Watch this, y'all. And when he has a son named Noah, he releases a false prophetic expectation. He says, this is the Noah that's going to help give us some rest and comfort us concerning the ground which God has cursed. And then the Bible gives us the funeral arrangements. Hallelujah. Both the beginning, the sunrise and the sunset of his daddy Lamech. And then the Bible decrees and declares that Noah found favor with God. I had to go back to the beginning of the generation because I had to come and help somebody to understand that there is a brother who that the I am of God lives inside of you, and he told me to decree and declare that you just found favor with me. I'm trying to find a brother in here that'll throw your hands up and look at somebody close to you and tell them, favors on my life. Favors on my life. This is one of the reasons why you know that, because a brother who has favor on him, favor is attracted to favor, which is one of the reasons why when favor is not active, my brothers, in your life, it is hard for you to be able to discern the Proverbs 31 woman, because the Bible decrees and declares, Lord, I just said something. The Bible decrees and declares that he that finds a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Hallelujah. And I know you thought that they was attracted to your muscles and all of the stuff you had, but the Lord told me to tell you that the favor that is on your life is about to get ready and attract your next big move. The next big thing, my brothers, that is about to hit your life, it's going to come because of favor. I wish you would find another brother that's not ashamed to get excited and tell them, favor. Favor. Go find two or three of them. Find two or three of them. Favor is about to defy the last negative word over your life. Favor is about to defy the last false prophecy over your life. I wish you would find another brother and tell him, bro, you got favor on you. Favor. I wish the sisters would go find a sister and tell them, I am somebody's favor. I got favor on my life. Hey, I got to get out of here. So Noah, Bishop, finds favor with God. And when he finds favor with God, the Bible says that Noah continued to call upon God. And to find out that Noah, when he calls on God, the Bible decrees and declares that God spoke to Noah. I told you, this ain't even for y'all tonight. But if you're going to stand up, you better talk back to me. The Bible says that God, apostle, spoke to Noah, and he told Noah, I'm about to do something in the earth that no one has ever seen. I told y'all this right here where y'all should talk back. I'm going to try it again. God tells Noah, he says, Noah, I'm about to get ready and use you. Thank you. That sounds real good. Y'all catching on. Sister Pink Hair, I might need you to come up here to the front. Watch this. She got talk back game. You catch her in the street when the Holy Ghost ain't on her, I'm sure she put a word on you. Watch this. Brother Manager, what's your name, man, so I can stop calling you Brother Manager? Donovan? Donovan? All right, Donovan, watch this. He tells him, Noah, he says, Noah, I'm about to get ready. I'm about to get ready and use you to do something that nobody has ever seen done. Well, why do you say that, Pastor Jesse? Because his daddy, Lamech, prophesied a false prophecy that Noah was going to resolve their crisis of a terribly cultivated curse. God didn't even dispute or refute what Lamech said, but rather, Apostle, God let Lamech die to ensure that the curse in their bloodline never makes it on Noah. And I know that I got to get out of here tonight, but the Lord, he told me to tell you all tonight that Noah could not waste his time fulfilling his father's false prophetic expectation. Because you must understand that if Noah would have spent his time trying to cultivate a cursed ground, that he would have been operating in the realm of assignable dysfunction. In other words, his daddy was trying to assign and ascribe to the next generation their family's dysfunction. But the Lord told me I had to cut off that generational curse because you are not who they thought you were. I wish I would find you somebody and look at them in the face and say, neighbor. Oh no, you gotta preach it. I'm here now. It's too late. Y'all had time to sit and quiet and tell all the things you want. Find you somebody and look at them in the face and say, neighbor, oh neighbor, the Lord told me to tell you that he is destroying false impressions over your life because you are not who they said you are. I know. I thought this was Unity Church. I know. You may have done what they said you did, but I come to defy all of the expectations of those that want to hold your past against you, to decree and declare, I'm not who they said I was. I'm trying to find somebody that's not bored with me tonight and look at somebody in the face and say, neighbor, God told me to tell you this. Come on, you can try it. I know some of y'all make pretend at home. You get in the mirror after you get out of the shower. Y'all be acting like y'all Pastor MJ. Just go ahead on and make pretend tonight. Let's try. All of us gonna preach it. Preach your neighbor out of something and look at him and say, neighbor, God told me to tell you, you got to do it just like this. This is the season where you have to be intentional about recognizing the cycles in your life, because the cycle will try to follow you into destiny. Your cycle will try to follow you into your future. And the Lord, he told me me to tell you that the only thing from your past that belongs in your future is you. Haters can't follow you there. Only thing, I'm almost ready, Tonto, hang tight, that belongs in your future from your past is you. All other dysfunction, it has to cease. Some of us had bad marriages because of family dysfunction. Some of us had bad job history because of family dysfunction. Some of you got bad prayer life because of ministry dysfunction. But the Lord, he told me to tell you that I'm defying all negative expectations. And what? Y'all quiet. I said what? Maybe y'all will talk to me on this side. I said what? Oh, y'all almost got it. Let me go over here to the apostle. I said what? Thank you, sir. What? Somebody tried against your life. God told me it's not going to work. And the reason why it's not going to work is because, brothers, I'm just not that guy. See, some of us in here got the testimony that a few years ago you could have walked up on me and tried me, and the results might have been a little different. I might have shot you a bird. I might have cut you with a blade. I might have pulled my gun on you. I might have cussed y'all out. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, the Holy Ghost say some of y'all still doing it. He told me to tell you, hallelujah, that back then they would have caught a different side of you. But because I'm not who they think I am, something different is about to come out of this. Grab your neighbor by the hand and shake that hand like you're going to shake it off. Shake it like a Polaroid picture and tell your neighbor, neighbor, oh neighbor, I'm about to do something different. And the Lord told me to prophesy, to tell you that all of the expectations that tried to come down through my family, he told me to tell you to scream it at them and prophesy tonight. It stops with me. I wish you would find somebody and get excited and decree and declare to them, it stops with me. I know somebody tried to lie on you, but I heard the Lord. I feel bad, excuse me. I heard the Lord told me to prophesy to a different kind of brother. He told me to prophesy to a delivered sister and to tell you that we declare tonight that it stops with me. Grab your neighbor and I'm going to say some things and you are going to do it. They call it call and response. I'm going to say something and you are going to scream, it stops with me. Find you a praise partner tonight that's not jealous of your worship and tell your neighbor, neighbor, oh neighbor, it stops with me. Sickness, it stops with me. Pain, it stops with me. Some of y'all been through rejection, but it stops with me. God say you've been through abuse, but it stops with me. Depression, y'all almost got it. Oppression, Oh, y'all got here. Low self-esteem. Dysfunction. Low self-esteem. Family cycle. Oh, y'all gonna preach yourself out. This is why hell got mad at y'all today. This is one of the reasons why the enemy tried to frustrate me through delay, because he knew that the person that you came in here as tonight, you wasn't gonna leave out of here the same. I'm ready, Tonto, let's ride. Grab somebody by the hand and tell them, neighbor, oh neighbor, God, yes sir, it stops with me. And the Lord told me to tell you that there is something that is inside of you that he told me to tell you. I see you, MJ. You are about to do something and do it different. What are you about to do? Because I'm not who they say I am. God told me I am about to outlive the expectations of Lamech, because the Noah anointing is on me. And God told me to tell you that he brought you through the storm. He brought you through the rain. He brought you through the sickness. He brought you through the shame. And the reason why he brought you through all of the rejection, he brought you through all of the lies, he brought you through all of the disappointment, he brought you out of the crazy house, he brought you off of the drug house, he brought you off of the pole, he brought you out of sin, out of shame. The reason why he did it is because I am not who they said I am. And God told me, Donovan, to prophesy that I am about to build something. And you know what? It's gonna be big. Find somebody that you're not bored with and tell them, neighbor, God told me to tell you no more curses, because the curse is over. No more lies, because the lie is over. I'm about to build something, and it's gonna be oh, y'all too quiet. Y'all too quiet. Big manifestation requires a big praise. Watch this. If your neighbor ain't happy about the fact that God let you recover from your last decision, you need to get your stuff and move to another section.